What? I mean, how dare a country send a team to the Olympics made up entirely of professional players of the sport basketball? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that is later on. That happened later on, and now you can switch countries. You can do anything. Get paid $1 zillion, and there's plenty more that we're going to cover. Jennifer, give us some news.
Outdoor masking rules in L.A. County have been lifted.
No one will have to wear a mask at outdoor mega events and outdoors at elementary and high schools and child care centers. County Health Director Barbara Ferrer says hospitalization numbers remain under 2,500 for 7 days in a row, which allows the county to move into what Ferrer calls a post-surge strategy. Indoor masking stays in place until the county's transmission rate is deemed moderate by the CDC, which, she says, given the current pace, won't happen until March 30th. Steve Gregory, Kfi News.
News is brought to you by Pure Again Water. A school district in the Sacramento area is defying state public health guidance and allowing students to choose whether to wear a mask. Students and parents, including this woman, shared their opinions on the issue at a board meeting last Thursday.
These kids are going to watch everyone unmasked in the entire state except for in schools where they spend the majority of their time. How do you think that's going to make them feel?
The high school district in Roseville will not require mandatory testing for students who choose not to wear a mask, but per Cal OSHA requirements, indoor masking will still apply for everyone who works for the school district. 2 bills in the state are targeting COVID-19 disinformation.
Senator Richard Pan has proposed legislation that would require online platforms like Facebook to publicly disclose how their algorithms work and how they promote user content. Assemblyman Evan Lowe's bill would label doctors promoting of misinformation or disinformation about COVID to the public as unprofessional conduct that could be disciplined. Supporters of the bills say social media has given a tiny minority of doctors a big voice in dissuading people from getting vaccinated. Deborah Mark, KFI News.
Officials have released the names of 4 teenagers and 4 adults on board a small plane that crashed off the coast of North Carolina over the weekend.
We're in the process of locating the main part of the plane, the fuselage, in an attempt to continue to locate any of the passengers that were aboard the plane.
Carteret County Sheriff Asa Buck says when the group was returning from a duck hunting trip Sunday, the single-engine plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. Officials say 1 body has been recovered so far. And they say Twinkies have a super long shelf life, but Mickey D's would like a word.
Megan Condrey says she found a McDonald's cheeseburger in the back of her car in D.C. about 5 days after buying it. Weird, but okay. She says the burger looked exactly the same after 5 days, despite it being rock hard and having no smell. That was in 2017. Condrey decided to conduct a little experiment and kept that cheeseburger in a closet since then. She came across it while going through Christmas decorations and says 5 years later, it looks exactly the same. She has rewrapped the cheeseburger and put it in a cupboard to check on it in another 5 years, but she says she has ditched fast food for good. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
The question is, why? Coming up, we will find out why it's slow on the 91.
The Clippers' Marcus Morris Sr. logged 23 points. Nicholas Batum scored 18, while LA's defense forced the Phoenix Suns into 17 turnovers. The Suns, however, got the final say with a late-game surge to defeat the Clips 103-98. The Lakers are in play for the first time since Saturday. They get the Utah Jazz at Crypto.com Arena at 7. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. We are just waiting for the Feds to increase interest rates. They said they do it early next month. So that means, of course, for mortgages at some point, they're going to increase the cost. And that means you're going to pay more money. And so right now, mortgages, the interest rate is ridiculously low. And at the same time, you've got tons of equity in your house because property values have increased. So why wouldn't you put that money to work, the equity? It's doing nothing for you. So let's say you borrow against that equity and pay almost nothing for the money itself. And then you put it to work. You invest, and let's say you're making 5%, now you're paying 3%, remodel, college tuition, it doesn't matter because money is so cheap. HMS Capital is the company I'm recommending. This is the only lender I know that actually tells you apply with other lenders at the same time. They are that confident they can get you the best deal, and I've done 2 mortgages with them. Call 833-255-5698. 833-255-5698. Visit hmscapital.com. Capital funding number 2427. HMS Capital is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection. License number 4130.
We'll get to your your traffic in just a second. Your SoCal weather from KFI. Mostly sunny and warmer today with highs in the low to mid-60s. We do have a wind advisory in effect for parts of the IE until 4 tomorrow afternoon. Then we should have highs back in the low 70s. Let's check out why it's slow on the 91.
Well, there was this stall westbound in between like Cherry and Atlantic when we first pulled up, and then we saw it go off the freeway. So no problem coming away from the 605, still in pretty good shape. I do want to warn you though, if you want to get off at Cherry, there's a lot of fire department activity. It looks like there was again an earlier fire working, so Cherry is kind of blocked north of 91. Now north 710 still in pretty good shape, leaving Long Beach, coming up towards East LA and all that, still in fairly good shape. We're just coming up on a problem now. Oh, this is eastbound Santa Monica Freeway at Normandy. Gosh, we've only got one lane open. I'll go more on this coming up. If you're coming out of Santa Monica right now, boy, as soon as you pass Woodbury, you might want to get off to Adams or Washington, any of that. Got a whole bunch of lanes blocked. More on this coming up. And Gorman, real quick. West 138 closed at the 5 Use Gorman Post Road. Jump KFI in the sky.
Save on dinner staples at Whole Foods Market. Get animal welfare certified 80% lean ground beef for $3.99 per pound through February 22nd. Plus an extra 10% off for Prime members while supplies last. See more on the Whole Foods Market app.
This is Leo Smith from Service Champions Plumbing, Heating, and AC. When it comes to tune-up and repairs, you might think that all technicians are about the same, aren't they? They go to heating and air conditioning school, then they show up on your doorstep to service your unit. What could go wrong? Well, a lot. Your heating and cooling system is one of the most advanced appliances in your home. If they aren't 100% up to speed, you could be in for a long, expensive ordeal. At Service Champions, we require 150 hours per year of ongoing training for all of our technicians, regardless of their experience. A 25-year veteran sits in the class twice a week right alongside a second-year apprentice, so we can service your system right the first time. Call Service Champions today to schedule an $88 precision tune-up. Our number is 833-777-7777 or at servicechampions.com.
Service Champions Plumbing, Heating, AC, and good heat for free.
Omicron spreads faster than any other COVID-19 variant, so it's important for you to mask up to limit the spread. N95, KN95, and KF94 masks offer the best fit and filtration. Don't have these? Surgical masks or double masking with a surgical and fabric mask can also offer great protection. So there you go. Mask, vax, and get boosted. Learn more at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
You want to sell your house or condo fast and easy? Call Seller's Advantage. They will buy your home as is for cash. Really. With Seller's Advantage, there's no realtor fees or commissions, no escrow fees, no repairs needed, no open houses, no weird strangers walking through your home. They buy your house or condo for cash. Damon and Doug from Seller's Advantage just bought a house from one of our KFI listeners. The owner wanted to sell his house. He met with a couple of real estate agents, and then he went with Seller's Advantage. He compared the numbers, and Seller's Advantage was the choice. He ended up with the same money, same bottom line, but there were no repairs, no headaches, no open houses, and no hassle. He says working with Seller's Advantage was the easiest real estate transaction he's ever had. DRE number 01961658, sellersadvantage.com. Call now for a free quote. See what your house is worth. 888-321-AS-IS, 888-321-AS-IS.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
For official rules and more information about contests on this station, go to KFIAM640.com/rules. KFI AM 640.
An iHeart radio station. More stimulating talk.
Good morning, everybody. Bill Handel here and the morning crew on a Wednesday, February 16th, as we continue Handel on the news. Jennifer Jones-Lee, Wayne, and me.
Well, look at that. Alex Hall's final trick was called the pretzel. And he says his stomach knotted up just even thinking about it. But he did it because when you're at the Olympics, you do things like, remember Johnny Mosley, who did he called his trick, I think he called it the dinner roll. And now you have Alex Hall's pretzel. Well, Alex Hall's pretzel on slopestyle got him a gold medal. The freestyle led a 1-2 American with a trick on his first run where he stopped the rotation midair and then turned in the other direction before he softly landed.
Yep. And this all has to do how Americans are doing very, very well in the freestyle stuff, especially snowboarding. I mean, that's the only place they're dominating, actually. There's really, they're very bad in curling. They don't do well in the biathlon. For some reason, they don't breathe as well. I love the biathlon. It's a country, it's cross-country skiing with shooting, with rifle. You shoot at a target.
I just read last night, and I'm going to try and get him on Wake Up Call. Did you know that there is a Hollywood curling club?
No, I didn't.
I do now. I
Yeah.
do now, and I want to talk to him.
Wow. Hairdresser.
Oh.
Okay, let's move on.
Why does this have to happen? Former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, is attacking Olympic skier Elaine Gu for not picking a side. She is American and Chinese, and she is well known for saying when she is in the United States, she considers herself American, and when she goes to China, she considers herself Chinese, and she is competing for China in this Olympics.
And that happens.
I don't have a problem. Look, I don't have a problem if you feel inside of yourself that you don't like that for whatever reason. Why do you have to go public and yelling at this kid, and you have to pick a side? No, the whole point is no, you don't have to pick a side.
No, of course not.
Bill,
But
you don't have to pick a side between Brazil and the United States.
Well, hang on a minute. I think I have more of an argument that I could represent Brazil, because I was born in Brazil. She was born in America. She was born in the United States. Her parents are Chinese. So you're right, going public, but privately, and I wouldn't make these accusations out, especially if you're a public figure. But this is Nikki Haley, who's going to run for president, and she has to talk to her base. So that's a given. The argument. But then you had, professional basketball players, I forgot who it was, that played for their country of origin, Slovakia.
There's plenty of Olympic athletes who are playing for a country different than their country of citizenship.
Yeah.
So why? And she's a kid. Why are you picking on her?
For those reasons I said.
Trying to turn this into this xenophobic
because
BS.
That's how you get elected. That's how you get your base excited. You become a xenophobe. And that's what this is all about.
All right, the U.S. says, no, we have not verified that Russia has pulled back troops near Ukraine. I heard one of the Ukraine officials this morning say, we have absolutely no sign that they have moved anybody. In fact, if there's been any movement, as the president mentioned yesterday, Russia has added another 20,000 troops, so we're up to 150,000 now. I talked to Louis Martinez with ABC News this morning, and ABC News found out that some of the actual troops now have been moved into what they call strike positions. So I guess Putin wasn't lying when he said that troops were being moved, but it looks like they were being moved into these different positions. So that game of chess I was talking about yesterday kind of sounds like what he's doing.
I find the language of the administration kind of weird. We haven't verified that the troops, in fact, have moved. They can verify movement of troops in 6 seconds with satellite surveillance. You can put a satellite up and read a newspaper that someone is holding on the ground. So how can they say we haven't found any, as opposed to saying they haven't moved? Here is a surveillance. Because the administration has made public those secret surveillance photos.
Researchers say that an American woman is the third person to be cured of HIV. This was a woman who needed a stem cell transplant for leukemia, and the stem cells happened to contain an HIV-resistant mutation, and it gave her an HIV-resistant immune system. Yeah, there are two men who were, quote, cured through either bone marrow or stem cell transplant. But there is this mutation that happens naturally, although it's rare, where suddenly your system is very HIV resistant, and they're saying they might be able to harness this to help about 50 people a year.
Right. So
it's a very rare
it is.
person who would be eligible for this.
And this is the first go-round. I mean, we're only talking 3 people. This is the third person on the planet. And all of them had underlying medical issues where they needed the bone marrow transplant. And what the scientists are saying is, we are not even close to using this for the purposes of eliminating HIV. But we're there. It's a little bit, this is what happens. Cancer and happens with various diseases. The knowledge all becomes incremental. Nothing more, nothing less. Hey, we have some outdoor masking rules that have just kicked L.A. County. Jen, you want to give us the latest?
Yeah, so L.A. County, as of today, you do not have to wear a mask at mega outdoor events anymore. And we've learned the CDC is considering lifting masking recommendations as soon as next week. The director plans to talk about it during a White House update today. The Orange County Transportation Authority says it's reached a tentative agreement with its bus drivers to avoid a strike. And a wave of car thefts in New Jersey has hit a new low. An SUV parked outside a funeral home was stolen on February 3rd with someone's cremated ashes inside. I've got your drive on the 10 in just a moment.
So when was the last time you checked your home for termites? Well, if you don't know you have termites, years ago? If you know you have termites, you have to deal with it. That's an easy phone call to make to Pacific Coast Termite. Now, if you don't know, call them anyway. You get a home free inspection, and they'll tell you either you don't have them, great news, or you do, you don't know it yet, and we have to catch them early days because they start doing damage. They start eating your house immediately. And Pacific Coast comes in and kills those little buggers without tenting. There's the magic. No tenting. I've tented before. It is a nightmare. Double bagging your food, going to a hotel, all the toxic chemicals going through your house. You can't be there for days. It's a mess. Call the folks at Pacific Coast Termite, and they'll treat your home without tenting. You can even be home when they do their treatment. Call 800-PACIFIC, 800-PACIFIC. Visit PacificCoastTermite.com, 800-PACIFIC.
Pacific Coast Termite kills termites
The clean, friendly way.
From the HMS Capital Weather Center, we've got a sunny day ahead, windy as well. Highs will just be in the 50s and low 60s. This report is brought to you by Grocery Outlet. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. We're off to the 10.
Well, you betcha. A little bit of good news. That last report, I was kind of hemming and hawing with you coming up over this, but Mid-City, L.A., the eastbound 10, the Santa Monica Freeway of Western, was all for a few minutes, but thankfully, fire department left real quick. Just a car sideways, but it's blocking the two left lanes in the back of Crenshaw. You're running late. You use Adams or Washington. Time-wise, I don't think it costs you more than maybe 10 minutes to get through. And northbound 101 on Hollywood Freeway, the beginning of the off-ramp going to Santa Monica Boulevard is kind of partially blocked. It's backed up for about 100 yards approaching, but after that, pretty good drive through the Coanga Pass. Jeff Baugh, KFI in the sky.
Stop by your neighborhood grocery outlet and find all the ingredients for a complete, healthy meal. They have fresh meat, produce, and sides, all at a savings of up to 40 to 70% versus traditional grocery stores.
This report is sponsored by Norm Reeves Honda Superstore. Take charge at Norm Reeves Honda Superstore during the Norm Reeves President's Day event, going on all month long. Choose from a super selection of new and pre-owned Hondas, or reserve your model of choice from their incoming shipments. Shop online at normreeves.com.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp announcing the WDC Kitchen and Bath Center President's Day sale. Up to 45% off select appliance name brands. Up to 70% off plumbing fixture clearance items. Save up to $800 off select adjustable mattress sets from Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, or Stearns & Foster. And with the help of Progressive Leasing, you can lease to own your appliance. To find the award-winning WDC showroom nearest you, go to WDCappliances.com.
Here's today's smart money tip from Owning. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com to find out more about this amazing offer. Have you ever kept your 30-year mortgage for more than 10 years? If you're like most people, the answer is no. Then why are you overpaying for a loan you probably won't keep? Introducing the Smart Money Loan by Owning. With an interest rate of 2.375% fixed for the first 10 years, 2.819 APR. Lock in your rate for how long you'll probably keep the loan. Lower your rate and payment and save thousands in interest. Call 833-2-OWNING to lock in a 2.375% rate, 2.819 APR today. Or visit owning.com.
NMLS 2611, subject to credit approval. Savings may vary. Call 833-303-2169 for licensing and qualifying terms and conditions. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
Over 35 million Americans have some level of dental anxiety. Dr. Cunning has over 50 years of experience helping people deal with dental anxiety.
in addition to being a superb dentist. And he and his staff will do your dental work while you sleep, with a gentle twilight or a full anesthesia if you need it. They can repair years of neglect in 1 or 2 appointments. You'll wake up to a beautiful new smile and good dental health, and they do it all. Dental implants, crowns, root canals, full smile makeovers, and new permanent teeth in a day. There's no need to neglect your teeth. Cunning has been rebuilding smiles for over 53 years, a veteran-owned business. Call now and get $500 off on your sedation and a free exam, x-rays, and CT scan, a total value of $2,000. And they offer no money down payment plans. Restrictions apply. Call Cunning Dental now at 888-640-SMILE, 888-640-SMILE, 888-640-SMILE. Cunning Dental, making smiles great since 1968.
1877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate online at carsforkids.com. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll get a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You know what I don't like? The guy at the end of his life smoked for 50 years, and he's like, I wish I'd never smoked. Like, really? You enjoyed him for 50 years.
But it's an addiction, and it's not easy for people to quit. How did you quit?
Because I'm a quitter.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show.
Not that good, not that committed to anything.
Weeknights at 6 on KFI.
We're back. Bill Handel here, Morning Crew, Wednesday morning, February 16th, and still cold out there, but it's going to warm up. And if you're a big Rams fan, you want to go to the rally, the celebration. There was a parade and all kinds of fun things that started at 11 o'clock this morning. Let's go ahead and finish Handel on the news with Jennifer, Wayne, and me.
In 2019, Paisley Schultes was 4 years old. That's when she was reported missing from Spencer, New York. Little Paisley has been found, and she's okay. She was found under the stairs of a home in New York. Investigators in New York got a tip that the girl had been abducted by her non-custodial parents, so her real parents, but they didn't have custody of her. And they had this tip that the child was being held at this location in New York. So police got a warrant for the house. They went there. They started to search the house. They started looking at the stairs, and even though there was a pretty solid staircase, they saw something in the wooden steps that was odd and out of place, they said, and they thought it was a blanket. So they started pulling off the pieces of the stair, and they said they saw a pair of tiny feet. When they removed the boards, they found the girl and Cooper, who was the mother of the girl, and she's the one who's accused of abducting the child, but apparently the little girl was fine, and I heard a report that actually she's now, almost 6, almost 7 years old, and had asked to go to McDonald's.
I wonder what schooling was. I guess she has been
Probably not.
2 years. Yeah, that's going to affect this kid for a long time.
LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva announced this year's Operation Reclaim and Rebuild Sex Trafficking, Human Trafficking crackdown. Netted 74 adults and 8 children rescued, 34 suspected traffickers arrested, and about 200 Johns, as they're known, i.e. the guys who go to prostitutes, were also taken into custody.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And you wonder about these Johns who heretofore were never arrested. They were never considered at fault, even though they paid money to be with hookers. Now, it's considered a crime in and of itself, which has always been on the books. It just wasn't enforced. Now, do they know that these are women that are trafficked? Should they know? And obviously, if that's the case, the punishment should be great, much greater. And so that seems to, I don't hear that part of the story ever. But let's move on.
All right, there's a case in Rialto where police are investigating what's called the forceful arrest of a 16-year-old that was caught on video. So the 16-year-old girl was apparently riding her mini bike at a really fast speed on Friday. So the cell phone video shows police, they go over to her, they try and give her the citation, but they say that she wouldn't give them her last name or her address. so they couldn't give her a citation. And then as they start to take her into custody, the video shows one of the officers saying, "Did you just try and bite me?" Well, the girl was charged with resisting by arrest by the threat of violence and taken to juvenile hall, but it's because the officers apparently placed his hand on her throat during the arrest that it's being called a forceful arrest.
The police chief is saying they were right to arrest her. They had every right to arrest her. We are looking at the decision to trip her, to get her to the ground, and also the placing of the hand on the throat. They're going to look at that. So this isn't a big thing of they had no business doing anything. This is more a couple of things happened tactically that perhaps they're going to have to work on.
And I think the camera's there. I mean, one of the beautiful things about cameras, dash cams, body cameras, it just in many, many cases.
She could have just had a citation. I mean, they would have just written her a ticket if she had given a name. She wouldn't cooperate with that, and so. Okay, many are calling for stiffer fines for people who bring guns in their carry-ons. Record seizures of guns at airport checkpoints last year. Even though air travel was down, more guns, and 86% of those guns that were found were loaded. So right now, first of all, you're almost never prosecuted for this. It is handled civilly, and the fines range from $1,500 up to, I think the maximum is $13,000 something, $13,900. So they're having a hearing at the House Transportation Security Subcommittee, and a representative named Bonnie Watson-Coleman from New Jersey is saying, hey, we have to jack up these penalties. Right. Maybe even if you're caught with a gun in your carry-on, you go on the no-fly list.
No, because that's dangerous stuff. Now, there's a Republican on the other side, Carlos Jimenez, out of Florida, who says, wait a minute, most people who bring a gun to the airport forgot that they had the gun in there, in their carry case. That's the vast majority of people. Oh, I forgot it was there. And so this was clearly a mistake, and therefore, and I'm paraphrasing, therefore they're being punished for a mistake. And is this going to stop, are excessive fines or big fines going to stop people from doing it when they just forget? And I agree, especially in the case of rocket-propelled grenades. When you have one of those in your handbag and you simply forget. I mean, I'm surprised there isn't a Second Amendment argument here. I forgot to bring it on.
There's no second.
Of course not. Of course not. But it's so... I forgot is really a good excuse for an armed weapon on a gun, on a aircraft.
That's not a helpful angle on the thing. They just, when that baby died in that hot car, Mom just forgot the baby was in there. It's just a mistake.
And that's exactly what the argument is. Because the vast majority of people say,
He also doesn't get it. Nobody's talking about criminal charges for people. They're talking about higher fines. There already are fines. Does he have a problem with the current system where people are fined?
Yeah,
Does he not like that?
I don't know. But the question is...
Higher fines, and then, and I didn't clarify, the representative would like you would go on the no-fly list until you take a gun safety course, and then you can start flying again.
As opposed to you bring a weapon onto an airplane, an armed weapon. You know what? That'll do it. Thank you. You're done.
Although the gun safety training course would consist of check your damn bag before you go to the airport.
All right. There was a man named Michael Dosa, and he went to the Applebee's in Bellevue, Washington. He sits down at the bar, and the bartender says, "Nope, not going to serve you. I need to see your proof of COVID-19 vaccine. Then I can give you the drink." Well, apparently Michael Dosa didn't like that, because he grabbed a meat cleaver and apparently lunged at the bartender while he was being asked to leave the restaurant. So detectives say when Dosa got outside the restaurant, he was yelling and waving this knife around, and when the bartender said, "Hey, buddy, you gotta leave," Dosa went after him with the raised cleaver over his head, but the bartender was able to shut the door apparently before he got hit. And the siblings of the worker are saying that, they don't understand the impact of the pandemic right now. It's how it's still upsetting people.
Yeah, it's crazy
to
stuff.
this point.
Where do you get a beet cleaver?
You know what? I was just
an Applebee's.
I was wondering that, but I wonder if the bartender was using a large knife. They're calling it a cleaver, but could it have been a large knife to cut, say, limes and lemons and things like that behind the bar? Maybe.
But a meat cleaver is kind of fun, it's
much better story.
Oh yeah, it's much more entertaining.
No, you need it to make the ribeye martinis.
Well said. Hey, coming up, another COVID story, but a different spin. And this affects all of us, and this really is life or death. And it's not of COVID. Now, I'll explain that. This is KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Prepare to be stimulated. KFI.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You can take them off, for the most part. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Mask mandates have been lifted in LA County for outdoor mega events and outdoors at K-12 schools and daycare centers. County Health Director Barbara Ferrer says hospitalizations have stayed under 2,500 for 7 days in a row, which allowed post-surge strategies to take effect. Indoor masking rules stay the same until the county's transmission rate is declared moderate by the CDC, which Ferrer says probably won't happen until late March. The new superintendent of the LA School District says he's keeping the outdoor mask requirement. Alberto Carvalho says changes to the policy could be made as early as next week. LAPD Chief Moore says he's planning on more than 20,000 people to attend the Rams Parade and Rally in downtown LA. The chief says he's deploying additional officers for added security.
The hundreds of officers that will be along the parade route, once that parade route is completed, those officers will be freed up for added patrols both around the parade area, the celebration area, as well as in the downtown area.
Moore says people should arrive early and use mass transit to attend. The parade starts at 11 o'clock today at Shrine Auditorium. 74 adults and 8 children have been rescued from sex trafficking in L.A. and Orange counties during the week leading up to Super Bowl.
More than 80 agencies were part of a task force also aimed at arresting pimps and johns.
In total, there were 494 criminal arrests made during the week-long operation.
LA County Sheriff Villanueva says the appetite for sex trafficking's increased because there's been a lack of local prosecution.
In the year 2021, we had 12,074 cases across all crimes that were not prosecuted by the district attorney, pursuant specifically to his special orders.
At the Hall of Justice, Steve Gregory, KFI News.
The weather has turned sharply cooler since Sunday's record-breaking heat. Rain showers returned to SoCal yesterday. There was even some hail in Pasadena. Forecasters say the change is due to a low-pressure system that's moved into the area from Fresno. The reputed chief of Orange County's branch of the Mexican Mafia has pleaded not guilty to opioid possession while in jail. This week's plea follows Johnny Martinez's successful motion in August to get multiple murder and robbery charges from 2017 thrown out. Martinez is also trying to get a second-degree murder conviction from 1994 tossed while he waits yet another trial for allegations of attempted murder of a co-defendant. A former professor at Chapman University may soon be unable to claim attorney-client privilege for thousands of emails tied to the fatal riot at the U.S. Capitol.
Lawyers for a congressional committee claim John Eastman played a central role in attempts to overturn the 2020 election. Thousands of pages of emails have been turned over, but the committee really wants to look at 568 pages from January 4th through the 7th of last year. Eastman's claiming he was former President Trump's lawyer, so the emails are off limits. A judge in Santa Ana Monday ordered Eastman to show proof by early next week he was retained by Trump to be able to continue claiming attorney-client privilege. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
Ukraine's president has called for a day of national unity while more than 120,000 Russian troops are gathered at the border. ABC's Terry Moran says President Zelensky wants to prevent a panic that could hurt Ukraine's economy.
U.S. officials tell us they are concerned that Zelensky is not doing enough to protect his people and prepare them for what might come next.
Moran says most Ukrainians appear to remain calm about the situation. And a street close to Mariachi Plaza in Boyle Heights will be renamed after Mexican singer Vicente Fernandez. He retired in 2016 and died last December. Daly Street will soon be called Vicente Fernandez Street from 1st Street to Pennsylvania Avenue. I've got your drive coming up with Jeff Bobby, KFI in the Sky in the 138.
As the Rams and all of Los Los Angeles gets ready for today's 11 a.m. victory parade. Coach Sean McVay has some thoughts and shout-outs about what it takes to be the champs.
I think each team is a new team every single year, but when you have the right foundational pieces like Cooper, like Whitworth, you had a player like Stafford, you have Aaron Donald in place, the list goes on and on. You just feel grateful to be a part of it.
Don't miss any of the Super Bowl champion Rams parade. Tune into AM 570 LA Sports today, starting at 11. Hosted by David Vassay and Tim Cates. Your home of the NFL is AM 570 LA Sports. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports.
It is easy to tell the difference between a good night's sleep and a bad night's sleep, the next day particularly. Good night's sleep, you wake up refreshed, you're ready to take on the day. Bad night's sleep, it's a mess the next day. And if you have a mattress that doesn't work, you know what, you're going to get a lot of bad days. So let me suggest the Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed. This is proven quality sleep, and it does make a difference in your health, wellness. Certainly does in my case. I've been sleeping on this bed for 14 years, almost longer. And what the Sleep Number beds do will allow you to adjust each side of the bed at any time for your ideal firmness level. That's your sleep number. Mine happens to be 100. I like a firm mattress. And until February 28th, the Sleep Number Ultimate Sleep event is going on. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 Limited Edition Smart Bed. And they're offering special financing and only at Sleep Number stores or sleepnumber.com. Subject to credit approval, minimum monthly payments required. Go to sleepnumber.com for details. 30 stores in Southern California, including Temecula, Chino Hills, Montclair, Porter Ranch, and Sleep Number is the official sleep and wellness partner of the LA Rams, sleepnumber.com.
Your KFI Financial Report is brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. The Dow is down 185, S&P down 32, NASDAQ dropping 174, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.72. Mostly sunny and warmer today with highs in the low to mid-60s. We do have a wind advisory in effect for parts of the IE until 4 tomorrow afternoon. That's when we could see some highs back in the low 70s. Right now it's just 42 in Garden Grove, 50 in Pacoima. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. We're heading to the 138.
You betcha. Thanks, Jen. You're around Quail Lake and Gorman. Now, be heads up. This is the westbound 138 at the 5. It's closed. Now, I thought it was due to weather, but sadly it's due to a terrible crash. Now, the detour is to Gorman Post Road. Then you get on the 5 and away you go. The north and south 5 not affected so far. Now, one we've been watching for a while is Mid-City Los Angeles. The eastbound Santa Monica Freeway, 10 and Western, 2 left lanes have been blocked. Got a backup going through Crenshaw, Adams, Washington will help you out. And going through Hollywood, northbound 101, Santa Monica Boulevard, the beginning of that off-ramp partially blocked. Now it's been slow from east to LA, it always is every morning. But now it'll stay slow to Santa Monica Boulevard. Then after that, finally a decent drive through the Cuenca Pass. There's something burning in El Sereno. Sadly, I think it's someone's home, not a brush fire or anything like that. More on that coming up. Jeff Baugh, KFI in the Sky.
Brought to you by Life Source Water. Taste and feel the difference.
If you're tired of big cable bills, you can get Newsmax TV for free. Millions are watching Newsmax. Available now on major cable systems or for free on smart TVs like Samsung, LG, and Vizio. Find it streaming on Roku, Xumo, Pluto, Amazon Fire, TiVo, Apple TV, and more. 7 million Americans have downloaded the free Newsmax app on their smartphones. It takes just seconds. Then watch us anytime, anywhere. Forbes calls Newsmax a news powerhouse. Find out why. Start watching today.
Hey, Sean Cobell, if chronic knee pain is keeping you from doing the things you love and you're afraid of a traditional knee replacement, check out Hyperflex Knee. Hyperflex, not your grandparents' old knee replacement. High-performance procedure uses cutting-edge VR surgical technology. Hyper-precision, hyper-results. Most patients are walking within 30 minutes and going home the same day. Call 844-HYPERFLEX for a private consultation covered by most health insurances. 844-HYPERFLEX or go to hyperflex.com.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob. KFI.
More stimulating talk.
An iHeart radio station.
KFI, AM 640. Bill Handel here. It is a Wednesday morning, February 16th. A lot going on this morning. For example, there is the rally parade at 11 o'clock this morning, celebration of the Rams winning the Super Bowl. And it looks like there is some good news in terms of Russia and Ukraine. The president is now warning us that an invasion by Russian forces is distinctly possible, as opposed to the language he used a few days ago, that it was imminent. I want to move over to our healthcare system, and you know the bitching and moaning I've done about our healthcare system for years, and the bitching and moaning that you have done about the healthcare system. A lot of people think it's broken, but here is something that is going on that doesn't really have to do with the quality of the healthcare system. It has to do with COVID. And it doesn't have to do with COVID per se, it has to do with the fallout of COVID. And what's going on is that our health system now is simply not ready for an advanced cancer surge that is coming. I mean, we are on, doctors are saying, we're talking about doctors that deal with cancer, oncologists, are saying we are just at the start of a very serious round of cancers. And so how you connect the virus to cancer? Well, it has to do with not getting cancer screenings. The way cancer is found early on is through screenings. I mean, once the symptoms occur,